Hey guys, let's dive straight into our Muslim women and sexual taboo series. So this is episode 1. It's about silence and shame. I think it's really important that we have this conversation openly so then we can grow as a community. So Muslim women generally but rarely are allowed to speak on sexual silence and shame. So from a young age, many of us are taught that anything related to sex in our bodies or desires is something that is extremely shameful. But the truth is that silence isn't spirituality, it's harm. And that's not from Islam, not from our beautiful deen. So cultural silence versus prophetic openness. Now, Islam never told us to be ashamed of our bodies or desires. In fact, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam spoke openly, comfortably about sexual matters with his companions. He said things, Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in your intimacy with your spouse is a sadaqah, and that's from Sahih Muslim. That means when a husband and wife come together in love, pleasure and connection, it's actually an act of worship. So how did we get from that to don't talk about this, don't talk about that, and the incredible shame culture we have now? The silence didn't come from revelation, it came from cultural fear. So from patriarchy, from colonial trauma, and from generations of women being told to be quiet and just be good. Now, what we classify as good is not the same from our Islamic context to what we have now. So in the Quran, it says, amongst his signs is that he created for you spouses from yourselves so that you may find tranquility in them. And he placed between you affection and mercy. Now, this verse doesn't just speak to legal contracts. It speaks to emotional connection, mutual intimacy, and deep spiritual companionship, which I think is absolutely beautiful. So how can we experience this if we never talk about what intimacy looks like, what we need or how we feel safe in our own bodies? We're never going to be able to cross this barrier that we're in now. So the harm of silence is really quite detrimental to us as a community. When we talk, we don't talk about sexuality. 3 things that happen. When we enter a marriage unprepared, anxious or uninformed, we cause issues. We confuse shyness with piety even when it harms us. We pass that fear comes down to our daughters and then continually the mindset for our sons. So many Muslim women suffer in silence. They're confused about their desires. They're afraid to ask questions about their feelings and they're disconnected from their own body, let alone their spouse. And none of this is from Islam. We're taught divine connection with ourselves and others. So how would we heal moving forward? It's time we made room for honest, Islamically grounded conversations about sexuality. Not hypersexualized, not shame-based, just real life conversations which are justified, safe and full of faith. You deserve to know about your body. You deserve to feel connected to your spouse. You deserve to learn about sexuality without any guilt, because it's a natural thing that's been given to us. Because Islam doesn't silence women, it dignifies them. It's the right place for everything. And healing begins at the moment you decide to reclaim what's always yours: knowledge, mercy, and love. We have autonomy about how we implement those things into our life. So what do we do next? Now, if you want a space to learn, heal, and grow, save and share this video and put comments on how we unlearn shame. Give me your concepts of how you want to do that. And let's start this conversation together with faith and dignity and respect. And just remind ourselves that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would never create anything that didn't have a manual or some kind of instruction or guidance that comes with it. And he wouldn't make human beings sexual by nature just to shun them, embarrass them, and riddle them, like just have them live a life full of ridicule. That is not what the most merciful would do.